everyone! Welcome to Plaid Prejudice, a series that gives me an excuse to buy more clothes and you a chance to explore unreasonable bias. People who fancy themselves critical of media love to make vast simplifications of Disney movies in order to make themselves sound smarter. Since Beauty and the Beast is my favorite Disney movie, if not my favorite movie, period, I've encountered my fair share of these people and heard several criticisms of it. Oddly enough, the same ones over and over again. It's not that I don't mind critique. It's just that I never hear anything that remotely resembles original thought or depth, or anything that's actually valid. So for the final video of our Beauty and the Beast month, I'm going to look at some of the criticisms I hear the most and why they are totally wrong. Number 1, Beauty and the Beast is about bestiality. Ooh, yeah, that one's real original. And super wrong on so many levels. Bestiality is specifically the act of having sexual intercourse with an animal. And Belle does not have sex with the Beast during the course of the movie. And it's not zoophilia either, because the Beast is not an animal. He might look like one for most of the movie, but he is human, and there's a really big reason that that is very, very important. He can give consent. There is a reason that bestiality is seen as animal abuse in most places. Animals cannot give consent. For the love of God, don't f*** a dolphin. What is wrong with you? Maybe that makes Belle a furry then. I don't know. Probably not. But who knows? I probably shouldn't have talked about bestiality first. Oh well. One last thing. Just because Belle and the Beast fall in love does not mean that they're going to have sex. I also feel it's really ace-phobic to automatically assume that the only way a romantic relationship can exist is if there is sex involved. People can have meaningful romantic relationships without it. Number 2. Belle has Stockholm Syndrome. Ooh. You keep using those words. I do not think it means what you think it means. Don't worry, I'm about to explain it. A lot of people think that Stockholm Syndrome is just when a prisoner or captive falls in love with their captor, which is true to an extent, but it's like saying that the Lion King is Hamlet. I mean, sure, yeah, that's not wrong, but it's not an accurate description of the movie. Stockholm Syndrome is an act of emotional self-preservation. It's created from an environment of abuse, which can include a hostage or prisoner situation, but also abusive relationships. It's a survival technique. The captive or victim will often look for the absence of abuse, or just the act of their abuser not killing or hurting them, as a positive sign of their character. Some of the big things to keep in mind about Stockholm Syndrome in the context of Beauty and the Beast are: a victim perceives a threat to survival and holds the belief that the abuser would carry out this threat. The idea that the Beast would intentionally harm her is eradicated after he saves her life in the woods, which is why she takes him back to the castle when he passes out. She realizes that the reason she was running away, the fear for her life, is not something she needs to worry about. The abuser will isolate their victim for perspectives other than the abuser's. Yeah, no. Belle is pretty much in constant contact with the Beast's household. A victim will change their actions and even personality to be more pliant and submissive to the abuser in order to increase their chances of survival. Yes, this was not a thing that happened. Belle doesn't actually go through a lot of character development in the actual movie. She gets to go on this grand adventure and find someone who genuinely understands her, which is what she wanted, but she doesn't really change from start to finish. And she certainly doesn't subdue herself to please the Beast. Oh no, she's downright defiant. She calls him out on his behavior, and it's only when he stops being a jerk that she starts to see something else. The belief that the captive cannot escape. So remember when the Beast lets Belle go, and she leaves? In the Broadway production, there's a line that was added that I really wish was in the movie, where after he says, "I release you, you're no longer my prisoner," he says, "You haven't been for a long time." Which makes sense! Because in the movie, after he throws his big temper tantrum in the West Wing, the power balance shifts. And that's the very first night, and he never acts like that again. And from that point on, I really do think that Belle is a guest. Number 3, it tells girls that you can fix someone with your love. Yeah, Belle doesn't ever change her personality to bring out a better side in the Beast, let alone fix him. Demanding that you be treated with respect is not trying to fix someone. Oh no, Belle's not here to be your maiden pixie dream girl. The Beast is the one who has to break the spell. Based on Belle's behavior, you'd almost think it was written by a feminist woman. Oh wait, it was. And number 4, the Beast is an abusive jerk all the way through who gets rewarded with a pretty girl. Do you mean the Christmas special? Or perhaps the other creepy midquels? Okay, so let's get the uncomfortable truth out there. Anyone can engage in abusive behavior, and everyone is probably going to at least once in their life. That does not make that behavior okay, but it does not make that person an abuser. The Beast at the beginning of the movie is obviously a jerk. He seems to have matured very little since he was cursed.
But she is being so difficult. Will you come down to dinner?
No.
It would give me great pleasure if you would join me for dinner.
As an angry and physical person, I can understand the Beast's reaction in The West Wing. I'm not condoning his actions, but this is one of the best things about the movie. This idea of redemption and second chances. That you should strive to grow and improve, and that you can only do that once you acknowledge your faults. He realizes immediately he made a terrible mistake, and the next thing he does is go out and save her, and he nearly dies in the process. Again, doesn't make up for his behavior in The West Wing, but it does show a willingness to change. Furthermore, what the Beast ends up learning is to reject toxic masculinity, male entitlement, and rape culture, which I know sounds like a tall order, but hear me out. Rape culture is primarily founded in male entitlement. The idea that sexual violence is inevitable because men are entitled to women's bodies. They are allowed to act like petulant and selfish children, to be excused for their mistakes, and to face no consequences for their harmful actions. But the Beast learns that that is wrong. He's cruel to a woman, and he's punished for it by that same woman. He learns that his actions have consequences, that he can't be a jerk and throw stuff around and expect people to love him. His life is greatly improved by compassion and love and thinking of the needs of others. He doesn't just give Belle the library because he wants to bribe her into falling in love with him. He tells Cogsworth that he cares about her and wants to do something nice for her. Not for any personal gain, but because it will make her happy. My absolute favorite instance of this rejection of toxic masculinity happens when the Beast and Gaston are fighting on the roof of the castle. He has the perfect opportunity to drop Gaston off a cliff, to murder this guy who not only shot him unprovoked, but also taunted him about his humanity and his ability to love. But he doesn't. He's about to. And then there's this great moment where we see the muscles in his face relax as he realizes what he's about to do. And he slowly pulls Gaston back onto the roof and tells him to leave. And he does this before Belle gets there. It's not for her benefit or to spare her from the sight of murder. He does it because he knows it's wrong, and he doesn't want to be that person anymore. And Gaston is 100% the embodiment of all of the things that the Beast unlearns. Gaston feels entitled to Belle because he is beautiful. He tries to force her to marry him, and when he fights with the Beast, he still asserts that Belle is his property to possess. And it's his dedication to violence that makes him fall to his death, completely his own doing. One final note, the Beast doesn't just become worthy of love, he also learns to value himself. At the beginning of the movie, we're asked for who could ever learn to love a beast. And I think the answer people think of is Belle. But she doesn't learn to love him. She only begins to fall for him when he makes a change. So I think the real answer to that question is the Beast. I think Beauty and the Beast is one of the best Disney films ever made. It's a beautiful story about acceptance, love, and redemption, and I honestly get really emotional about it. So it's been a real treat to do an entire month of Beauty and the Beast themed videos, and I want to thank you all for watching. Like this video if oversimplifications of Disney movies frustrate you. Let me know in the comments your favorite ones or your thoughts about what I said in the video. And subscribe to The Princess and the Scrivener for more Disney, intersectional feminism, pop culture critiques, and more. I will see you next week. Oh god, how did this video get this weird so quickly? To murder him? For the love of God, don't f*** the dolphin!